Hello guys, welcome back to Mr. Cloudbook channel. Today is the day 5 of the master class. In this particular video, we are going to learn how to install EKS on different platforms like on AWS EKS and DigitalOcean. And finally, we are going to talk about the Minikube as well. And in this video, at the end of the video, we are going to install the Minikube on Ubuntu 24.04 as well. So this is also important while you are learning. So Minikube is also one of the important tool for you while learning the Kubernetes from the scratch. Okay, let's go into the video. So Kubernetes in different cloud providers. So we will talk about how many providers we have, like C, AWS, EKS, and DigitalOcean like that. So what are the different kinds of the installations we have in this particular Kubernetes? Okay, and first of all, we will talk about the introduction. So let's look into the installation option. So there are multiple ways to get started with having a full functional Kubernetes environment. So first is you make use of the managed Kubernetes service, which is generally offered by the various cloud providers. So the best way to learn the Kubernetes is practical experience. So multiple options are available to install the Kubernetes, but functional Kubernetes environment is little bit difficult whenever you install from the scratch with the bare metal. Okay, so you can also make the use of the Minikube to have a fully functional Kubernetes in a local setup. So here we have three kind of installations of the Kubernetes. The first one is managed Kubernetes services like AWS EKS, Google, where we can use the DigitalOcean or like the Azure. And secondly, we will use the Minikube. So to have a fully functional Kubernetes in your local, but Minikube will give you the one node, master node for the learning purpose. That is the main default. And third option is you can install the Kubernetes and configure it Kubernetes manually, which is also referred as the hardware. So this is bare metal, which is hard because this is mainly used by the advanced users like who knows the Kubernetes very well. Okay, so Kubernetes by itself has the multiple components. So when you are doing things manually, like you have to configure each and every component, you have to configure the connectivity between each one of them. So this is one of the approaches that you will take once you understand Kubernetes pretty well. Okay. So if you have the like experience, if you have the experience more than 7 or 5 years, then only you have to try this particular bare metal installation. So because we need to add more connectivity and networking and so many things, we need to take care of the things, right? So in the bare metal, all right. So that is the last one, okay, that we are going to talk about and we are going to taking up. So let's look at into the each of these one of the approaches. So the installation options we have, one is the managed Kubernetes service. I already explained. So my like AWS EKS and Google Kubernetes engine or Azure Kubernetes services are like say DigitalOcean. And the second option is Minikube, and third one is the manual installation, which is on the bare metal. So which is the difficult one. So we will talk about is this all in the future videos as well. Now, first we will talk about the managed Kubernetes services. So various cloud providers like you have the IBM, AWS, and Google and other cloud providers. They give you a managed cluster, right? See, the AWS CKS, not only AWS CKS, Kubernetes provides the various cloud providers. Kubernetes is offered by the various cloud providers. So cloud provider manages the entire cluster. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to manage your Kubernetes or anything. Okay. So they will take care of your everything like backup things like adding the connectivity between the two pods and the nodes and everything. So everything will be taken care by the cloud providers. So cloud providers. So such as the examples we have DigitalOcean, Amazon EKS, and Google GKE and IBM and Azure Kubernetes. And the advantages of the managed Kubernetes service is easy to use and easy to set up, and which is managed by the experts. So, like see, in the organizations, most of the people uses the managed Kubernetes service only because everything is managed by the cloud providers. So just we use that particular service, okay, on the organization level. So if you use the bare metal, it will give you the more hard way. Say whenever the cluster is down, it will take so much of time to up the cluster. So that's why most of the people prefer the managed Kubernetes service. Okay. And next, we are going to use the Minikube in the particular sessions. So, which is also very easy. So, installation process of the Minikube is also one of the easy way. So, with the simple commands, we can install the Minikube on the Ubuntu. So, I will tell you how to install the Minikube in the end of the video with the simple lab. Okay. So, the main disadvantages of the Minikube is single node Kubernetes cluster in a VM. So it's not provide any kind of nodes or worker nodes, but we can deploy the simple pods on the control node. But just for the learning purpose, you can use this particular Minikube. Okay, so which is ideal for the development and learning, and the limitation is not suitable for the production scenarios. Why? Because if the single node or the control node is working for everything, it will be crash soon. That's why this is not useful or not recommended for the production scenarios, because which is not give any particular kind of the nodes, worker nodes for that particular Minikube. Okay, and the next, manual installation. So this is the third option. So we have to configure the each and every component in the Kubernetes, each and every component in the Kubernetes manually. Like we need to first provision the Kubernetes master or taking some kind of servers and installing the required tools like the kubectl, Kubernetes, like what are the needs required, kube API server, like that. So every component we need to take care of that, and it requires the deep understanding of the Kubernetes architecture. So only the experienced guys can do this one. Okay, suitable for the advanced users and specific requirements. That's why I'm not talking more about this particular manual installation. So we are going to use the Minikube and managed Kubernetes services that are provided by the cloud providers. Like, okay, so key components in the Kubernetes setup. So what are the key components that we need in this particular learning process? Okay. So first of all, we need the one Kubernetes, like the EKS or GKE or DigitalOcean Kubernetes. So or the Minikube. So first of all, we need that, and other than that, we need the kubectl, which is the CLI tool for the checking of the pods and everything. Okay. So and worker node agents. So since Minikube is not giving any kind of nodes, but managed Kubernetes service, we can provision the nodes. Okay. So for example, we will talk about the AWS EKS also. I will provision one EKS and show you how to do provision the AWS EKS from the AWS. And next I'll talk about the DigitalOcean. And before that, I mean like before managed Kubernetes service, we will talk about the Minikube also. Okay. So configurations that are required by the each approach. See, hardware. So first one we are talking about the manual installation. So which needs, we need to configure the master, we need to configure the worker node, and we need to configure the CLI, and we need to configure the each component. Okay. So which is pretty hard for the beginners. Okay. We will talk about this in the later videos. And next, Kubernetes managed service. So all we have to do is just install kubectl on your laptop. That is the thing, and just we provision the Kubernetes from the AWS EKS or DigitalOcean. Okay, so which is also pretty easy. And Minikube, so we need to configure the CLI. I mean, like we have to install the CLI on our system, and next we need to install the Minikube. So which is gives the manages master and worker in the single node only. Okay, so these two are easy. Mini managed service and Minikube are easy. Okay. So the course approach, what we are going to follow in this particular course is primary focus. We will use the managed Kubernetes service, which is free one. So which is free for everyone for 60 days. And secondary, we will use the Minikube. Okay. So advanced manual installation. So later in the course, if possible, I will use the advanced version of also how to install all those things. Okay. So these are the three things we will install. Okay. So this last one we are going to do at the end of the series. Okay. So first we will do this one today, Minikube setup. So conclusion, multiple installations options are available for the learning of the Kubernetes. Choose based on learning needs. Okay. So and resources. So if you use the AWS EKS, it will give you so much cost at the end of the month. So it will pretty hard to pay. So that's why choose based on your learning. So which node we need, which worker node we need. So what type of the instance type we have to take, and like that. Okay. So practical experience is key to mastering the Kubernetes. Okay. So I will talk about the installation of the Minikube now. Okay. Let's go. Log into your AWS console. So presently I am on the Mumbai region now. You can see that. All I have to do is click on launch instance. So I will use the name called Minikube. So AMI type, I'm using the image Ubuntu, so which is 24.04. Okay, and instance type, this is needs 2 GB or 2 CPUs, but I am going to use the, this is fine, T2 medium is fine just for learning, and but I'm going with the T2 large, so which is also good one. And key pair, select your key pair Mumbai, and existing security group. So I'm using my old one, so which has the 22, 84, 43 some ports. So if you want to use all port, that is also fine. So for the storage, you need 20 plus, but I'm using 30 GB here. So all you have to do is click on launch instance. Okay. See, this is the instance I am browsed now. So it's still initializing state. So select the instance, copy the public IP, go to your terminal. So use SSH-I, give the public IP, I mean like that PEM file path, and give the Ubuntu at the rate of public IP. Okay, yes. Okay, I connected to the server. Let's increase the size little bit, so which is more good for you while learning. So do the update first of all. Sudo apt update. Since I have the commands here, I already copied it. See, Docker is installed on the server. First of all, we need to install the Docker and 20 GB of storage and 4 GB RAM, TCPUs. So here is the official page for the Minikube. Just open it. So here, if you see, it needs 2 CPUs, 2 GB of memory. That is fine, but I'm using 4. So 20 GB of the disk. So it needs the Docker. Okay. So container or virtual machine manager. Okay, such as Docker. So that's why I'm installing the Docker with this particular commands. So and here if you see sudo user mode -a g docker ubuntu, because we need to add that particular user to Ubuntu group, I mean Docker group. Okay, so we have to add the Ubuntu user to Docker group, and then we have to refresh it. Okay, before that you have to remember these things. So copy this, and that is done. Update and paste it. So you can see that sudo user mode -a g docker ubuntu. I'm adding Ubuntu user into Docker group. Okay, enter. So it will install the Docker, okay, or compose and all those things that are required for our video presently. Okay, why? So that is done. And next, if you want to update the Kubernetes, I mean like the server again, you can just give the sudo apt update. So I will do that. Okay, Docker is installed. Clear the screen if you see the Docker version. So here, so let's update again. Okay, that is done. Clear the screen, and see, download the latest Minikube binary file. So we already have the link here. So if you go there, so select the Linux operating system, and architecture is 8664 stable version. So installer type, we need the binary download, and you have to just copy these commands. So first command will download the Minikube binary, and second command will install the Minikube. Okay, you can see that clearly. Sudo install Minikube Linux systemd4, and it will changing to user local bin directory also. Okay, so I have the same commands here also. So same commands, you can see that. So if you see the give the Minikube, sorry, Minikube version, so it's installed 1.3134. Okay, so next we need to install the kubectl. So I gave the each file here, like the documentation official pages. So you can use this one. So Mac OS Linux. So this is the official page for installation of the kubectl. So Linux. So you can use these commands. Okay, these three commands and four. This will install the kubectl on your Ubuntu. So if you want to direct command, you can just use the snap also with the help of the snap on Ubuntu. So let's install with this snap simple command. Enter. See, it downloads the kubectl, okay, on your server. Okay, kubectl is installed. If you want to see the version, give the kubectl version -- client. Okay, see, we have the 1.31 latest version of the kubectl is installed. Okay, next what we have to do, we have to see the Minikube status. Let's see the Minikube status. Okay, see, it's not found. See, profile Minikube is not found. Run Minikube profile list to view all profiles, or to start the cluster, you have to run the Minikube start. Okay, let's clear the screen and give the command called minikube start. Okay, enter. So it's starting the minikube version 1.34 on Ubuntu 24.04. So automatically selected the Docker as the driver because we already installed the Docker. So it's taking the Docker as the driver. And you can see using Docker driver with root privileges, starting minikube. So primary control plane node. So it's only gives the one node. So that name is also minikube. Okay. So if you see here, downloading the Kubernetes version 1.310. So it downloads the Kubernetes here. So KTS Minikube. So it will download. It will take some time. Okay, you can see creating the Docker container with CPUs is 2 and memory is 2200 MB. So that's why I wanted to take the two CPUs and 4 GB of memory. So which is very helpful. Okay. So if you use the less kind of configurations, less kind of memory stacks, so it will slow down your minikube. That's why I took the 2 GB of CPUs and 8 GB of memory. Okay, see the Kubernetes is created now. Let's see the kubectl get nodes of the Kubernetes, I mean minikube. See, we have only one cube. See, only we have one node here, that is control plane. Okay, so if you see the kubectl get pods, so we don't have any resources. Okay, so if we need to create one kubectl run first pod, so I can have an image. So this is the command in Linux I'm using. So this will create the first pod. Okay, so kubectl get pod. See, now it's container creating state 5 seconds ago. So let's give up arrow. See, now it's running. So if you see the kubectl pod -o wide, so it will show it's running on the minikube. Okay, like on control plane. So this is the name of the minikube. Okay. So this is how you have to install the minikube and learn your Kubernetes. Okay. So this is the first way of installation Kubernetes. And if you don't know about the kubectl, we are going to talk about the kubectl also in the upcoming videos. So I will explain more detailed way about the kubectl. Okay. Thanks for watching the video and keep on supporting to Mr. Cloudbook channel.